Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. We're here with David Grissom. Thank you for sitting down and spending some time talking with us today.
My pleasure.
So I want to ask you first, I am a huge fan of the PRS DGT.
All right.
Viewers of the channel will know that I've purchased it 3 different times on 3 different occasions.
Well, the fact that you sold one and bought it back,
I did.
warms my heart.
Oh, good. Yeah, so the 10-second story is I had one, I sold it, I missed it dearly, had a chance to buy the same guitar back, and I did.
Yeah.
And then when you released the semi-hollow version,
Game over.
I had to have that too. So there we
Well,
go.
it's like it's so easy to go home and justify that purchase.
There you go.
With your significant other. Look, it's got a hole in it.
There was a conversation there.
Yeah, I know. I've had the conversation many times.
Yes. Okay. So here, the first question is simply, why is your guitar the best guitar?
Well, I mean, honestly, and with humility, I think it's the best guitar for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair to expect. I would never say it's the best guitar.
Sure.
It's the best guitar for me.
Yeah.
And I've found that a lot of people like what I like.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably the most vintage-inspired guitar in the PRS lineup. And I grew up. I didn't grow up playing vintage guitars, but I grew into vintage guitars as I became touring all the time. And we moved to Texas and met a bunch of guys that really knew vintage guitars they were still affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I bought my, I'm not sure if it's a late 59 or early 60 Fiesta at Stratocaster for $400.
Wow.
And that doesn't happen anhermore.
No.
But just the feel of whether it was a Strat or a 335 or a Les Paul, of those older guitars really was my thing. And all my, the tones that I was emulating or trying to, or that I was inspired by, whether it was Duane Allman or Billy Gibbons or Pat Metheny even, it was Pat, the PAF world there, and then Roy Buchanan and Jeff Beck and Hendrix and in Fender world. But those guitars, I had the opportunity to play so many of those guitars, and there was something different about them. And so, in 1985, forever ago, I joined.
I remember 1985.
Yeah. I had to use a fake ID when I bought my first PRS.
Oh, wow.
No. I joined Joe Ely's band.
Okay.
And I had a Strat. That was my main guitar. And I had a Strat and a 59 Esquire. And everybody in Austin was playing Fender guitars.
Yeah.
And there was this sort of voice in the back of my head said, maybe you should try something different. And I remember seeing that first ad for PRS with the Seafoam Green standard, the all mahogany one, and thinking, that's pretty cool. I don't know I've never seen it before, but it was in the back of my mind it seemed cool. So that, and also thinking that it might be in Joe's band at the time, it was basically a 3-piece band, and Joe having a little more horsepower than a single coil pickup.
Yeah.
I drove to Dallas and got the guitar, and that was a pivotal moment in sort of setting me on my journey to find my sound. And then, so I have had the pleasure of working with Paul for this whole time, and
Since like 80.
Since 85, the first year.
Beginning. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I didn't meet him until a year later.
Okay. Wow.
But I bought a first year guitar when they came out.
Do you still have that guitar?
I still have it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really had a lot to do with that, and I got a vintage Marshall amplifier.
Oh.
So the two of those things together, and then going on the road, hundreds of shows a year with Joe, that period of time really helped me sort of coalesce all these styles that I was intrigued by. Blues, country, rock, dabbling on the edges of jazz, what we now call Americana. Before that term was really used in music. So the evolution over the years, through the McCarty model and then now this guitar, this is sort of the culmination of all that with all the little tweaks and the neck shape, the electronic layout, the headstock angle, the tuners, the tremolo, the way we've done the coil tap. It's 40 years in the making. So that's why in the frets and the way the frets are finished on the edges, it's all specced out, and that's why it's the best guitar for me.
Yeah, and a lot of it is bespoke to this, like no other PRS model.
Correct.
Has those pickups, the bevel on the frets,
Correct.
the neck profile,
The electronics layout.
yeah. It's fantastic. We've actually had the SE model, and we've done demos on the SE model.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, like how much of the essence of the core model
I
is
know.
in the SE model.
I know.
So after the core model's been available for a long time in the catalog, what made the timing right to make the SE model? I mean, it's been a couple years ago.
It's been 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you get this into the SE model? It's impressive.
By the grace of God and a really hardworking people at PRS.
Yeah.
Jack Higginbotham
Right.
was really instrumental in sort of taking this recipe and translating it to the Indonesian factory. But I got a lot of emails from people literally all over the world who said, I love your model. I'd like to have one, but it's too much. It's too expensive for them.
Yeah.
And so when PRS approached me about making an SE, I was really intrigued, but I was also really leery because I just made it clear from the beginning that I need to maintain final approval up to the last minute because I'm not going to put my name on a guitar that I won't play.
Yeah.
And they were totally cool with that. And there's a video on their channel you can look.
Yeah,
where
we'll link to it below. Yeah.
The day that I got the guitar, they sent me some pickups to try that was in a different guitar, and I basically said, they sound okay, but this guitar sounds nothing acoustically like mine. So this is not doing me any good.
Okay.
So wait till you get the guitar, a prototype you can send me, and so they sent the whole thing, and they asked me not to open the box until we had a Zoom meeting, and they could film me. And I took it out of the box, and within 10 minutes, I was going back and forth. I have a 2010 Gold Top that's just beat up that I've played on a million gigs and sessions. I was going back and forth between the two to A/B them, and I wasn't. Well, at one point I had to look down to see which one I was playing.
Oh wow!
And so really, I mean, we might have done one small revision on the pickups, but if we did, I can't remember for sure. But I mean, he kind of nailed it. Like
it's good.
Yeah. But they had to translate all like the pickup specs because the pickups are not made in here. When you change the gauge of the wire by even the smallest fraction,
Yeah.
that changes the DC resistance and the tone of the pickup. So they had to convert all that thing. It's like you have a recipe to make a cake, and then you go up to 10,000 feet.
Right.
You know,
You gotta change it.
you have to change the amount of
Yeah,
ingredients.
that's
It
true.
was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah, it's great. It's interesting because I have a lot of friends that'll come over and they haven't played PRS before, and often they'll like, I don't really like PRS because, and it's like they're kind of too modern, too.
I know.
And I always say to them, I have the PRS that's gonna turn
Yeah.
you into a PRS fan.
Yeah.
Hand them a DGT, and they're like,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
That's happened
Yeah.
many times. Actually, Bradford and I did a lot of David Grissom playlist listening on the trip.
Keeping it
And
fresh.
man, I forget the song, but it was like, this sounds like Stevie Ray Vaughan on the neck pickup. Is that now because the coil split on your guitar, like the neck sounds like
I think I know what song you're talking about. It's the one song that I've recorded with a Strat on my records.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But this guitar nails that tone
Belly of
too.
the beast.
It does. Belly of the Beast.
That's-
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah.
But that's, I'll tell you what that is like, I played the rhythm track with the PRS, but that's that Fiesta Red Stratocaster.
Oh,
but
is it?
with,
That's the old
But with 11s tuned down a whole step.
Okay.
And for some reason, that guitar tuned down a whole step with 11s on it.
Yeah.
Just sounds way beefier than 10s in standard tuning.
Yeah.
But I used that, and I think a Marshall. I actually used a Marshall in that.
Yeah. That's good.
On the solo.
Okay.
But that, yeah, and a room mic. Yeah, I really worked on that to get something different on that song.
We weren't sure, like, is that a split pickup? Is that DGT split? Because that's awesome. That was
Yeah.
what we were curious.
Well, the tell on it is that I use the middle pickup a lot.
Oh.
And so the middle pickup on a Strat is really hard to replicate on any guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. So but we were just talking about your tone is awesome. I mean, it's
Thanks.
like, it's bright, but it's thick and full, and it almost feels like it has this element of dirty and clean at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, what is that? Is that coming a lot from the DG Custom 30? Is that?
It is.
Okay. How
It
do
is.
you approach building that tone?
I pretty much the same with every amp I play through. I do. I grew up with. I had a PV amp, and then I had a Music Man amp, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But once I got the Marshall, it was like, there it is.
Yeah.
And so all these amps, I got a Tweed Deluxe and a 50-watt Marshall and an AC30. They didn't have master volume. So in effect, the master was on 10
Turn it up.
all the time. And so
Yeah.
you're getting your distortion from the output stage of the amplifier.
Okay.
Which to me is where you can get that edge of breakup or when we started building the DG30, one of the terms I used a lot was I really want to get clean feedback. I want to be able to get sustaining feedback
Yeah.
that goes into an upper harmonic bloom without it being too gainy.
Yeah.
I don't want it to
Okay.
sound like, there's a couple of pedals on.
Yeah.
So I generally, stress that if you want to go for that, the key is to bring the right amp for the gig.
Okay.
And so that means bring an amp that you can turn up.
Yeah.
So, if that means bring a Pro Junior, by all means bring a Pro Junior. And then there are so many tricks. Now there's you can buy plexiglass baffles.
Yeah.
But I've been in situations where I don't find myself in volume. I have to worry about volume too much
Yeah.
where I play now.
Yeah.
But and a lot of that is because of the top end response is smoother, the way I dial the amp in and the way I help design that amp.
Yeah.
But whether it's putting your guitar case in front of the amp or your pedal board or just really watch the top end.
Yeah.
If it's too bright, that's really going to make it. I found that to be the problem of when the sound man really freaks out.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it around backwards.
Yeah.
But to bring a 100-watt amp to a gig and then turn the master on one, you're not giving the amp a chance to do anything. It's not, and you miss the interaction when you play and you play harder and you feel the amp kind of it's just getting the right amount of compression. And that was another thing that we really worked on with the DG30. It has tube rectifier in it, which I really like, but we had to be very careful that it didn't get too much compression because that too much gain and too much compression for me are, I just can't play the way I play. I want to get some bounce. When I play a certain way, I want to feel like it's bouncing.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Sure.
As opposed to just stopping.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so getting like a twin reverb on 3, there's no compression. It's like playing against a wall.
Right.
Like a super high, like a higher gain amp where you turn, if you were to set it up with a master on 1 or 2 and then turn the preamp all the way up, that's just once the band starts playing, you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Because there's too much compression and too much gain. So it's that middle ground, if you listen to Duane Allman at the Fillmore or Tres Hombres or Jeff Beck, any the Blow by Blow or the Wired, to me that's the sound. That's the and a lot of other, like Roy Buchanan when he would play that Blackguard into a Vibrolux. There are so many different examples across a lot of different genres with Albert King. That's just that pure tone. There's a purity to it.
Yeah. Is your custom 30? Is it inspired by, I guess, that old Marshall that you have, or is it?
Well, the custom 30 was really like a 2-year project, and Doug Sewell, the amp designer at PRS, came to Austin probably 6 or 7 times, maybe even more, and about half the time we would work on the amp, the other half the time we would go to a different barbecue place.
Yes.
And we'd talk through the philosophy. We started basically with a blank piece of paper.
Okay.
Like this is not. I was really adamant. I do not want to make a clone, but
Right.
I would play my Tweed Deluxe and say, I like the mid range and the high, the way the high end is smooth on that. Then I'd play a 50-watt plexi, and I'm like, I love the bottom end and the warmth on the top end. Again, I always came back to that. The plexi, that stuff is not near as bright. And then I would play a high watt and show them how the middle control was so powerful. You could go from almost American voicing to British voicing with the middle control. And then my AC30 for just all-around incredible greatness. It's just impossible to get a bad sound out of it. And so I didn't really think I was asking for much. I just want one amp that'll do all those things in single channel and no effects loop.
Sure, there you go.
So he came down a bunch, and we started with a prototype, and we would he'd generally bring 2 amps, and he'd literally we'd open them up and set them on a table.
Yeah.
They're wide open, and I stayed far away from that. And we would change caps, resistors, values, and everything, and work the better part of a day, and then sleep on it, and come back the next day and see where we were. And what we found every single time was, he documented everything, every move. Every single time we found that we had gone one step too far, that a whole day of listening, your ears get a little fatigued, and so we would back it off one notch. And then that would be sort of that session. And he might leave it, and I might play it for a while. And I said, but the reverb needs to be a little more like a super reverb, or either, any number of tweaks. And he would come back again, and we tweak and tweak and tweak. I think at the end of the day, what we got, even though it has EL84s, the USA made one and uses these new old stock Russian tubes that are technically 7189s, because when we were building these things, you could still find new old stock RCA 7189s. And they're gone now, but they're glorious. They're like military upgraded EL84s. And I mean, they sound amazing. Like, I've never heard a tube that's made that much of a difference. So those are gone, but these Russian ones come close, and then the voltages were so high on this amp that we needed to use something that was more robust, and then we put 2 fans in it to make sure that the amp was not going to get too hot. So what we ended up with, to me, the best description I could give you is that it's like a hybrid of my great AC30 and a JTM 45, or a Tweed Basement, which is the very similar circuit in those two amps. But it doesn't have the shrill top end of some AC30s, and it has more bottom end than most AC30s, and which to me takes it into some of that JTM 45 thing.
I've never played one, but you kind of sold me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to order one.
Well,
tonight.
I mean, and again, I run the master all the way up most of the time. And then there's a boost mode and a normal mode, and I run it in boost mode. It's not an active boost, it's just the level of attenuation going into the preamplifier. So it's like the 2 inputs on a Marshall, high and low. But I use the high, and then I run the volume at about 5.5 or 6. And that's right in that super sweet spot where if I turn the guitar all the way up and play hard, hit a big chord, it's going to crunch in a very pleasing way. And then I turn the volume down to 6 or 7, and it cleans up beautifully, which is like my clean channel.
Too many fools, too many heroes with too many rules.
I got to ask you a controversial question, and you've been talking. Have you ever? So, people who watch our content are big, almost exclusively use amp modeling for capture. Do you ever use anything like that? What are your thoughts on digital versus real amps?
Well, it's not fair for me to fully comment.
And feel free to step on everyone's toes if you'd like.
It's not fair for me to fully comment on that because I have an aux box.
Do you? Okay, good.
And I can get really good sounds out of it.
They're great,
But man, it's like not something you just carry around foot switch it on. You know, it
Yeah.
requires
It's a thing.
an
Yeah.
iPad and
Yeah.
or some other way of controlling
Yeah.
it. I mean, I've talked to a lot of really good players
Yeah.
that do use them from time to time.
Yeah.
My friend Jeff McErlane uses the fractal stuff and for his video things, and he gets a great tone. I think from talking to like some really good players that are required to use them at times.
Yeah.
What they miss is what I'm talking about is that feel of that you get in your hands, the interaction of your when you can coax more out of the. You know, I manipulate the tone with my hands.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that again, I haven't played through enough of them to be able to really tell you that I don't like them, because that wouldn't be fair. But I do think that if you have never played through a great vintage amplifier that you can turn up, you should try.
You should absolutely
you should do it. And
something to blow your hair back.
yeah, or even it doesn't have to blow your hair back.
Right.
It can be a tweed, like something like 15 watts, a 15-watt amp turned up to a reasonable level. I'm not trying to hurt people. In fact, you know, until you've had that experience, it's unfair to say that modelers are just as good as amplifiers. I'll go that far.
Okay, that's fair. Well, David, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We'll link below if you want to check out. You've played with tons of artists and released a lot of music. We'll check all that out. All the DGT, the amps, all linked below. Thank you.
Yeah, my
Can't get a
pleasure.
semi-hollow anymore though.
What's that?
Can't get a semi-hollow.
Are they sold out?
I don't think so.
Are they gone? Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk them into another run.
There you go.